Meanwhile, the Biden administration is under growing pressure because of all this to respond to higher energy and gas prices and food prices. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen even now admitting that she was wrong last year, underestimating the path of inflation and what would happen. ABC's White House correspondent Karen Travers joining us now to talk about this. So last summer, Karen, we heard the president and his economic team say that these rising prices were only temporary, that they were caused by COVID-related supply chain issues and they would ease up. How did they get it so wrong?
Yeah, I mean, Kira, they'll say those reasons are still there, that we're still seeing inflation, we're still seeing high prices because of COVID-related issues, that the supply chain disruptions are still happening, and there's still that bounce back from the shutdowns of COVID. But, Kira, we're not hearing words like transitory. We're not hearing timelines like we were last year when administration officials and the president were talking about how things would ease over a couple of months. Here we are now, a year later, as you point out, and it hasn't eased. In fact, it's getting worse, and there's really no end in sight. So you're not hearing the administration put a timeline on this. Big concerns about how long this is going to go, and certainly an eye on the fall midterm elections, which means this is going to be a political headache for the White House as they hit the campaign season in just a couple of months.
So Biden met with the Fed chair yesterday, but he says he's taking a hands-off approach to the Fed's decisions. So what did they discuss, and what can Biden really do here?
Yeah, they don't have a lot of options here, Kira, and that's why the president yesterday was saying that his main tool for fighting inflation is to give the Federal Reserve autonomy, to give them independence, and to say, you're going to take the tools and try to do this. And the president was trying to draw a distinction between his predecessor, former President Trump. He mentioned this in the meeting yesterday, that he was going to take a hands-off approach, no political pressure. He did this in a Wall Street Journal editorial where he wrote that the Federal Reserve has a primary responsibility to control inflation. He says, my predecessor demeaned the Fed, and past presidents have sought to influence its decisions inappropriately during periods of elevated inflation. I won't do this. Now, the president says that he and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell have a laser focus. They share a laser focus on addressing inflation. But as you say, Kira, there's only so much the White House can do. And some of that is still very broad. It's very big picture, and that's addressing supply chain disruptions. It's talking about infrastructure. Those are things that might help in the long term, but that's really cold comfort to people who are looking at receipts, who are looking at the gas pump and seeing how much they're paying for everyday things.
So, Karen, you have been talking to radio stations all across the country. High interest in the president's meeting with the head of the Fed. What are listeners asking, and what have you been telling them?
Yeah, Kira, it was really striking to hear how much interest there was in this meeting yesterday, given that we only saw the president with the Federal Reserve Chairman for about 90 seconds yesterday. That photo opportunity came before their meeting. They didn't unveil some grand plan to fix this overnight. There's no switch they can hit to turn this all around. But I think it shows that this is something that is very much on the minds of Americans. And polls back that up, of course. The economy and inflation are very big issues for Americans right now. And the questions that I keep getting are, what can the White House do about this? When is this going to be resolved? And are there tools that they have at their disposal beyond saying supply chain issues? Oh, this is still COVID. And the big one that we keep hearing still from the White House is a lot of this has to do with Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It's when they say a lot. And there are a lot of questions here at the White House briefing about that. The president gets questions about that. I got to say, Kira, it doesn't sound like that's something that is convincing Americans right now about why prices are so high.
Yeah, Karen Travers will be following it all. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.